Hello and welcome to the MMA Coaches Corner, UFC Fight Night, Hall versus Silva fight prediction. I'm joined with my co-host here, George Scott. How is it going?
Yo, what is going on, Scott Sportscast Nation? We're here. We're breaking down this week's fight card, UFC Fight Night Vegas. You got Uriah Hall taking on the Spider, or should I say the ex-Spider, Anderson Silva. But most importantly, I like my steak medium rare and with usually like asparagus or something. Because Khabib choked out Gaethje just like I predicted, and the steak that we bet. Don't think I forgot.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring it up, but you beat me to it.
No, I
And
like steak.
Gaethje tearing up that leg, tearing him up, and then went to the ground. It just went to the ground, So that's what happens when it goes to the ground with Khabib.
It doesn't take long, that's for sure.
The only reason he survived to the second round was because it was at the end. So Khabib had a couple more seconds, he would have finished that. But yeah, so what can you do? It's a new fight card though. And so let's talk about the main card a little bit. We got Thiago Moises taking on Bobby Green. King. Thiago Moises, jiu-jitsu guy, man. This thing goes to the ground. He can wrap it up very quick. I like the way he hangs in there with his striking long enough to get it to the fight to the ground. So gonna be a little tougher against Bobby Green. That guy he loves to throw punches and bunches. He's got solid wrestling too. I'm thinking that this is probably going to be one of the fight of the night. What do you think about this card or this fight?
This fight's looking, obviously, it's going to be the striker versus grappler, but both guys can hang tough in the other category. But Moises, he's really good on the ground, and you don't want to mix it up with him in the jiu-jitsu game. Now, Bobby Green, the King, he's been on a 3-fight win streak, man. He's improved his boxing. He's improved his takedown defense. He's confident. Long layoff here for Thiago Moises. I'm taking Bobby Green in this one. I think he wins the decision. I think it's going to be a good fight, but I think that ring rust is going to matter when it comes to Moises. And I think Bobby Green's going to be able to keep it on the feet, especially later in the rounds. So give me Bobby Green here winning a decision. What do you got?
By decision. Well, I think that especially with the layoff, Thiago's going to want to go where he's more comfortable. And so that's going to be on the ground. He's going to find a way to get it there. It always does with these kind of fighters. And for some reason, it'll probably be Green that takes him down. Just one of those like, wait, what's going on here? It's an episode of Black Mirror. But no, I see Thiago winning this fight. I think it's going to go to the ground. I think he's going to end up getting a submission win.
All right.
So we split
right
early.
Off the bat.
All right. Let me get this pencil to work. Why pens are better?
this next fight. Not
Okay,
really excited, but it is pretty interesting.
so it's Kevin Holland versus
Oh,
Charlie.
never mind. My bad. I thought it was you, but
Charlie uh Entourage.
yeah,
Entourage. So
Murphy.
this guy's making his UFC debut. Very cocky, very showboaty. Loves to
Team
keep his hands
money.
down. You know, he loves just to taunt. Uh, but he's always been going against lesser opponents. His striking is solid, but he's got some power. But it's like he either wins or loses by knockout. And I think this is one of those times where if you keep your hands low against someone who's explosive and is good of a striker, and especially long and lanky, like a Kevin Holland's gonna put you night night. You're gonna step right into the range, and Kevin Holland's gonna light you up. Um, I mean, I like the way that Holland uses those long legs, lock him in with chokes. He can keep you at bay with some push kicks. Really control where this fight takes place. Um, Keeps people on from coming in. But I'm gonna take Holland in this fight. I think Holland's gonna end up getting. Give me TKO or decision. TKO.
Ooh,
Give me Holland by decision.
I will have to agree with you. I'm thinking that uh this guy right here, Murdoch, right? Or Murdoch?
Murdoch?
No.
No, no, Charlie.
Oh, is this a different guy?
Yeah, I think he got replaced.
Oh, yeah, I'm not too familiar with this guy, but
It's his UFC debut, so no one is.
so this isn't the Team Money guy.
No, this is Kevin Holland versus Charles. Um,
Okay, so he did get replaced. Okay.
yeah,
Well, I am taking Kevin Holland, even though the other guy has a little bit more reach. I do think Kevin Holland is the more explosive fighter. He is more powerful. He does catch people on the end of that punch really well. Has good knockout power, and the lengthier fighters are usually the better punchers. They get all that elastic force and that whip in their punches, and can really send all that energy where it needs to go for a knockout. So I'm taking Kevin Holland here. I don't know if he gets the TKO. I think he just kind of dominates the fight and gets the 3-round decision decisively though.
yep. That's what I was thinking. Because this guy, Charles, I watched his other fights, and I mean, he's been cracked, and he's got a good chin. So we'll have to see what's going on with that. Our next fight is one that I'm very excited to see. It's been a while since I got to watch him fight, and it was a good fight. We have Greg Hardy taking on Maurice Green.
Now this was the fight that I was talking about, that it's interesting, but I'm not very excited about. Not the Kevin Holland fight.
Yeah, yeah. So Greg Hardy and Green are both coming off of one fight win streak. Um, you have Maurice Green loves to croquet. That's why he's called the croquet boss. So he's the only fighter that we know of that loves to croquet. So that one goes all to him.
Crochet all day.
He's choked people out from a couple weird positions, um, but also he uses that big body, big knees, likes to come in and push you against the cage, kind of control you there. Greg Hardy, this guy, he's been improving every single time I watched him fight. He's just looked better and better and better. So I expect nothing less. Um, I love his power. This guy, he hits you, he'll hurt you, and that's the case with most heavyweights. But you know, Greg Hardy, I think he's got the athleticism, he's got the hunger, he's learning more. Uh, Give me Greg Hardy in an upset here, winning by decision.
Yeah, I'm not sure who I'm taking yet. I gotta talk through this real quick, but Greg Hardy is by far the better football player. I will tell you that. Both guys ex-football players, but Greg Hardy, Pro Bowler. Where's your Pro Bowls at, Maurice? But in all
Man,
seriousness,
great.
though, both guys come from a similar background, so they have similar styles, and they're not super experienced in martial arts. They're experienced in like, combative sports, which is huge
Athletic.
positive. But both guys are very athletic, but they burn their energy pretty quick. It's really going to come down to endurance and who's going to be able to not get hit and be able to throw more punches. Because I
Yeah,
don't really see either guy really fishing for the takedowns too much unless they get cracked.
no,
But
neither one of them want to take this fight to the ground.
yeah, but Greg Hardy did have a tough weight cut. He he didn't make it the first time, had an hour to make it. He made the weight, but in a 3-round fight, that matters. You're depleted the night before. Is he going to be able to rehydrate and get his body back in shape the way that it needs to be? And as a football player, I'm pretty sure he knows how to manage his body and deal with what his body needs. So I think he'll be okay. Um, Give me Greg Hardy here by knockout of the night. After all that, I think his power gets it done early. I think he catches him and gets the finish.
Very nice.
But I'm not confident if it goes to 3 rounds.
Yeah, but I
He
mean,
really, he really likes to use that jab and like stay in control of the pace and the octagon control and the rhythm. But against a guy like Maurice, who might just kind of bull rush him and walk through the jab, it'll be tougher.
very nice. This fight I'm pretty excited for. Um, we have technically the undefeated, even though he has the loss on an exhibition fight. You have
The
Bryce.
Ultimate Fighter.
You have Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell. Uh, this guy's got some very nice BBJ. Um, it's one of those guys like Damian Maya. You just don't let this fight go to the ground because he will find a way to tap you quick. He will choke you. He will attack limbs. He will attack knees. He'll do whatever it takes to break, twist, bend, or force something away that it doesn't want to go on the ground. So don't go to the ground with him. His striking, not too bad actually, but I mean I wouldn't put it up there. Uh, I think that's definitely where your boy Tucci Philly comes into play. Uh, this guy's got some dynamite in his hands, though. He can put it on you. Uh, I think that recently, though, is he the one that's been winning all the decisions?
Well, he's been hit or miss, but he's been facing nothing but top competition, man. Feely has not had an easy fight in the UFC, and this one's no different. So
Oh
who
yeah,
you taking in this one?
this one's tough because I want to say that Philly can catch him. He can touch him, but mm, I got to go with the ground game and the uh, the undefeated streak with with Mitchell here. Thug Nasty.
Yeah,
Uh,
this fight's interesting.
by submission of the night.
Yeah, this fight's interesting. Um, I think that Bryce might win this fight by nickname alone. Thug Nasty is a pretty cool nickname. Touchy Feely, pretty creepy nickname.
But it's
Gotta be
awesome.
honest. In the times of coronavirus, you don't want to be touchy feely with people. So
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
so I'm judging this fight strictly off of nicknames here. But for a real analysis, let's go with the jits game, the grappling game. You do not want to mix it up here with Thug Nasty because he will transition all around you, and he has actually won rounds by by like, by like 10-8 rounds. Well, just grappling without really throwing punches. He's won 10-8 rounds. So man, he just dominates people on the ground. It's not fair. But then you
Damian
got
Maya,
Feely, who is a fighter, man. This guy only fights tough fights, and he's a true I mean, he's a true fighter. And that's what I love. He wants to go out there, he wants to mix it up, but we all know with some high level grapplers, you don't get the chance to fight. And I think that Bryce might be able to transition to a takedown early and just kind of take him out of the fight. So it could either be Feely, touchy feelies his way to a 3-round beatdown, or Bryce goes out there and just grapples around him. So it can really go either way. I don't know. Uh, but I'm gonna pick Bryce to keep the undefeated streak going. I think that he's gonna be able to get a takedown and maybe catch something
All right, so you're going by submission.
by submission of the night.
All right. So that just leaves our main event left. The man, the myth, the legend, the longtime champion, the guy who evolutionized and changed the game. Raya Hall, no, Anderson Silva versus Raya Hall. Both of these men haven't fought in a year. They haven't fought since 2019, so long layoff. Anderson Silva's last fight, he got leg kicked by Jared Cannonier and just uh, buckled and stopped the fight due to an inside leg kick. As for Hall, was is coming off a 2-fight win streak. Anderson Silva 2-loss streak, but those 2 losses were to Cannonier and Adesanya. So the 2 guys who just fought for the belt. Pretty tough competition. But then you have, on the other hand, you have Hall's last couple fights. I think he went up. Or no, but it was Masvidal and Paulo Costa. So both these guys, their last couple fights were against title contenders. So they bring it. The difference to me is I think that Anderson Silva's footwork is not what it used to be. His head movement's still there, but he just doesn't have that explosive cutting off of the angles. Uriah Hall, what I like about him is one, that he throws all those spinning machete dance kicks, but that's kind of his gig, is the spinning attack. But he uses them sparingly and effectively. He wasn't like that other guy. Just came out and just like
I don't even remember who that was. That was so bad. I tried to
it was
forget it.
It was the dude who fought Ryan Raval, I think.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Hall definitely loves to throw kicks. Anderson Silva doesn't throw as many kicks anymore, I noticed, and it's definitely costing him in his fights because he's losing decisions, and a lot of it has to do with because you're not letting off kicks as well. You're not using the full offense. You're not getting in the clinch and landing some knees anymore. So give me the younger, hungrier Uriah Hall here at winning this fight by decision. I think that it's going to probably go 25 minutes, and you would think that Anderson Silva has the advantage of 25-minute fight. But at the same time, I think that Father Time is catching up. And
Yeah.
Anderson Silva, he doesn't have the chin, he doesn't have the durability, and he doesn't have uh, it like he used to have. Nothing wrong with that. You know, it happens to everybody. But I think Hall's just going to come out here and win this fight.
Every empire falls, right? So even Anderson Silva, that empire has been on the decline. I mean, he was the greatest fighter to ever live. And I don't think that's just an opinion. I think he had every skill set. He had everything. He was the perfect fighter.
He
If you
changed
wanted
the
an MMA fighter, you got Anderson Silva. So because of that, I will always love Anderson Silva. I mean, he is not that person anymore. He's the ex-Spider. He's a different guy. And Uriah Hall has been hungry. He's been on the up and come. He was compared to he was pretty much the only guy that could compete, against the top ranked guys because he was just knocking everybody out on the Ultimate Fighter. Then he got destroyed by Kevin Gastelum. And since then he's been hit or miss. I think that Uriah Hall has that one punch knockout power. He has the ability to catch Anderson Silva, but I don't think he will because I think that head movement and Anderson Silva's style frustrates people. People don't just knock out Anderson Silva. You got to be a real high class level guy in order to do something like that still, even at 45. But give me Anderson Silva winning this fight. If not anything, because of nostalgia, because I want to see him go out on top with the win. I hope that, this is his last fight. I don't want to see him
decision.
continue to fight over and over again. I don't think he needs to try to make another title run, but I would like to see him end his career right here on a high note and maybe look like the Spider of old, at least just for a round or so. So give me Anderson Silva by submission, getting it done.
That'd be the way to get it done. That's got that high level world class jiu-jitsu, and choked out and tapped out some of the best in the world. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I just think that especially watching his last two fights, his foot movement just not there. His his lateral movement is what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
He's not
He
able
doesn't have that
to.
explosiveness.
He's not as evasive.
Yeah.
So he's starting to feel a lot more of these shots, and that's whenever you start to see Anderson Silva start to look human and slow down. Whenever you're able to start landing, but I mean, he always has the ability just to land that beautiful one punch. You know, Anderson Silva is one of the deadliest strikers to ever play the game,
Yeah,
and
and I don't get me wrong, Uriah Hall's probably winning this fight, but I'm picking Anderson Silva just because that's my guy.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it one bit. I love me some Anderson Silva, but I think Uriah Hall is going to have his hand raised at the end of it, and I don't know how far it's going to propel him. Um, at this point, Anderson Silva is just like whenever the old wrestler gets to wrestle the new wrestler in WWE,
For
like
the
the
torch.
Rock comes back to wrestle Cena. It's just
Just the
like,
passing of the torch.
yeah, it's one of those. It's like, hey, here you go. And I thought that happened with the Adesanya fight, and then Anderson Silva kept going. And I was like, okay. Anderson Silva's just not ready to hang it up. He's like Chris Leben and them.
He's a real fighter. What can you do? That's all he loves.
All he's ever done. It's all you ever know. How do you just walk away?
It's tough, especially when you had that gold around your waist.
Yeah, and all you want is it back.
But every empire must fall.
Yep.
And I just hope Anderson Silva gets one more victory. I get to see him compete and look good for one last time.
Yeah,
That's
I think
but
I think it's
it's
gonna
always
be
up
a
to the
competitive
fighter.
fight.
Yeah, but it's always up to the fighter. Whenever they're done, they're done. But nobody can tell them because they're pretty stubborn. Like look at Chuck Liddell. Look at Roy Jones. Look at look at Mike Tyson. It's just never enough. Always
Yep.
one more victory. One more. I got one more fight. One more.
Yep. But at the same time, it's like it's realistically for Anderson Silva, he has like either two knockouts, one war, or another injury before it's time. Uh, I mean, maybe one. I'm being gracious with two. Two knockouts.
Yeah.
But if those happen, then it's like it's time. You gotta wrap. So, um, and I wonder if it's gonna happen here because, like I said, the speed of Anderson Silva, the evasiveness has gone down, and when you're going up against a guy who throws spinning kicks like you used to, um, you're gonna need every bit of speed you can get.
Yeah.
So he might get caught with one and drop. I mean, my prediction is that Anderson Silva does hit the mat. I think he does get dropped in this fight. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a clean knockout, a TKO, or if he gets up, survives. But I know Anderson Silva's buckling and falling on his butt this fight. So
I keep an eye.
I think Uriah Hall's definitely just younger, fresher. Um, you know, um, but anything can happen. This is why it's the main event. These two guys are just great competitors. So we'll just have to see who lands and whose game plan works. And you know, this seems like an interesting card. It a couple of the fights are suspect, but on these free fight nights, a lot of these guys are usually the ones trying to make the pay-per-views and work their way up. So
Hungry dogs bite harder.
they bite way harder too. You see that on Fight Island.
Absolutely. Yeah, I
Would
if we,
probably
so
bite harder.
so we got the same submission of the night by Thug Nasty. Then we got the same knockout of the night for Greg Hardy, right?
I
Or
thought
who
I
you
had
taking for knockout of the night?
a Kevin Holland by knockout of the night. Um, I think he's going to use that reach, step in, and just catch him because this guy keeps his hands by his nipples or by his waist at all times, trying to showboat. And you can't do that against Kevin Holland, man. You just
Yeah.
cannot. So I think he's going to get the knockout. Um, Fight of the night or submission of the night. We both picked. What was it?
Thug, Thug, Thug Nasty.
Yeah, Thug Nasty. I think gonna get the submission of the night, but I also think that it might be a runner-up with Tiago Moises. So That one
Yeah,
to me would be the other one that could be a submission of the night.
yeah, I feel that the submission of the night would go to Thug Nasty, but I also think that fight of the night is probably gonna go to the Holland fight. I think they're just gonna go at it. Holland's gonna get it done. So give me that one for fight of the night.
All right.
Holland
Uh,
versus Charlie.
I'm gonna take the main event as fight of the night. I think they're both gonna bring it. It's gonna be a beautiful striking fight. And I think it's gonna go 25 minutes
Nice.
of just it's just some good stand up. Um, if Silva can hang,
Yeah.
um, he got broke in
Might
his
be
last fight.
might be past his bedtime. You never know.
Yeah.
He is
Um,
5 years old.
the other one that may be my fight of the night would be the Bryce Mitchell. I think that one has a lot of potential as well.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Could go back and forth.
interesting card. We got some Jits guys versus Jits guys. We got some Jits guys versus strikers. We got strikers versus strikers. So we
We
kind of got a
got
little bit of
wrestling
everything.
grapplers versus jiu-jitsu grapplers. Like we got guys
Mm,
that are good on the bottom, guys that are good on the top. So even the grappling is going to be dictated by position and like, guys they aren't going to be want to working off their back and trying to pull guard, and they don't want to take the ground and pound that some of these guys can dish out on this card. So
yeah,
definitely don't want to be on bottom tonight or tomorrow night.
yeah. Unless they're at home, um, then then do as you please. But
There's
in
chef choice.
the cage, you're really gonna have to pick and choose wisely. So it's not as easy as just saying, "Hey, excuse me, can you let me up, please?" I mean, no.
Hey,
Uh,
Mr. Referee, can you stand us up? That'd be great.
I need a break. Timeout. Timeout. It's like there's no timeout. But
Greg Hardy almost missing weight at 265.
that's a thick
That's
boy,
intense.
man. Ooh. Uh, and he don't look fat at all.
That's
265,
not bad.
man. How do you have that much muscle and still make 265 is what I'm trying to figure out, but barely is the answer. So uh, he made weight, so let's see if he can hydrate, put some of that weight back on. Um,
Coming refreshed rather
you
than
know,
depleted.
drink that Pedialyte, get those electrolytes back in you. Uh, and don't exert yourself tonight. Rest up. 'Cause you're gonna need it.
Yeah, you had a
You're
good workout.
you're
He's gonna be
fighting a
more
dude
sore
just
from
as big.
cutting weight. He's gonna be more sore from cutting weight than he is to fight. Watch.
Yeah, because you're fighting a dude bigger than you. Like that that's crazy because look at how big you are. You barely made 265. You're fighting
Right.
a dude bigger. So it's like Greg Hardy's got his work cut out, but I really think that he's gonna put it together this card. I really think that we're gonna see um, another step in Greg Hardy's game. I
Yeah,
don't I
definitely.
don't know. The ground seems suspect to me. I tried to keep that fight standing the best I could, but uh, we'll have to see. I want to see Greg Hardy see where he's at. Any
Yeah.
anything else on this card you want to touch on before we wrap some things up here?
No, I think it's got potential to be a good card. Uh, it's not the most exciting card on paper. Even in the promotions, they're going to try to mislead you a little bit. But there should be some solid fights, and there's definitely a few fights on here worth checking out. So always tune into the cards because you never know when sometimes you see a card that maybe not stacked on paper and it turns out to be one of the best cards of the year. So don't sleep on it, but also don't get your
Sleep
hopes
on
up super high. So
Don't sleep on it, but sleep on it. You know?
other than that, I like my steak medium rare. Like I said, steak sauce is always nice. Some asparagus to go with it is never a bad idea.
Well, if I can get to the store tomorrow and the mean people didn't buy them all up, because last time I went, they were all bought up. Um, then yeah, definitely gonna have to throw one of those on for the fight tomorrow night when we do the watch along.
Absolutely.
So we'll have those going, and we'll have the fights going. It'll be a good time. But at the same time, you know, I'd say if I had to rate this would be a solid B event. You know, nothing world beating, but definitely not a bunch of slouches on this card. So expect a decent card. Other than that, that's gonna do it here from us here at the MMA Coaches Corner. I am the fighter,
And I'm the coach.
and we will catch you next time. Peace.
Salute.